Today we are going to discuss about the concept of manpower planning. Manpower planning is one of the most challenging areas in the management. It is the human being, it is the workforce, which plays a key role in any organized business or in any organization. An organization needs different types of personnel or workforce to accomplish organizational goals. Putting right man at right place in right number at right time is imperative to accomplish the goals of an organization. Here you might have noted that it is putting right man at right place in right number at right time. So it is not just putting the any kind of personnel. It is putting the personnel which are suitable, most suitable for a particular type of job. So this is very challenging, very important, that a man should be suitable for the job that he is going to perform. That too in right number. There should be neither more number of people, personnel, or nor less. More will add to the cost and less will affect the performance. So it should be just in right number. And then at the right time when these are required, when they are required. So manpower planning or personnel management deals with the workforce of the organization, and it concentrates on, it attempts to put right man at right place in right number at right time to accomplish the organizational goals. Personnel management can be defined as obtaining, using, and maintaining a satisfied workforce. Here also, it is important to take note that it is obtaining, using, and maintaining a satisfied workforce. So you need to, as a personnel manager, as an organization, you need to have workforce. And when you train those workforce, then it is essential to retain them, and that too in a satisfied manner. So maintaining, retaining a satisfied workforce is challenging. It is a significant part of management concern with employees at work and with their relationship within the organization. Then what are the functions of personnel management? When we say personnel management, so it has 4 functions, and it begins with manpower planning. Then second is recruitment, then selection, and then training and development. Manpower planning is also called human resource planning. It aims at putting right kind of people in right number at the right place at right time, doing the right things for accomplishing the organizational goals we have already discussed. E.W. Vetter defined manpower planning as a process by which an organization should move from its current manpower position to its desired manpower position. Though planning management strives to have the right number and right kind of people at the right place at the right time, doing things which result in both the organization and the individual receiving maximum long-run benefit. So while we go for manpower planning, it is very important that we should consider the organizational goals as well as the long-term, long-run benefits of the workforce or the personnel. Unless our workforce is satisfied, they are suitably placed, they are given incentives, it will be very difficult to retain them. And this is the challenge. Then Leon C. Megginson defined manpower or human resource planning as an integrated approach to performing the planning aspects of the personnel function in order to have a sufficient supply of adequately developed and motivated people. Adequately developed and motivated people. I am repeating. To perform the duties and tasks required to meet organizational objectives and satisfy the individual needs and goals of organization. This is very important. that the workforce is adequately well, uh, well aware of the things that he is going to perform. He is skilled and motivated towards the goal. Then, objectives of manpower planning. The objectives of manpower planning are to recruit and retain human resources of required quantity and quality. This is very important, that we should maintain an optimum level of human resources, neither more nor less. It should be available when it is required, in the right number, in right quantity, at right time. So this is the recruitment. Then to foresee the employee turnover and make the arrangement for minimizing turnover and filling up of consequent vacancies. This is also very important, that the turnover should be appropriate. There should be no gap when it is required. Then, to meet the needs of the programs of expansion and diversification, we require additional manpower sometimes to meet the expansion or diversification requirements of the organization, and that time manpower planning is very essential, that how much the workforce is required. To foresee the impact of technology on work, existing employees and future human resource requirements. This is also very important, that there is always a trade-off between the technologies and the manpower employed. Technologies replaces the manpower. Manpower is required to run the technology. So there should be a proper balance between the manpower and the technology. And it should be well planned. It should be well planned while we are going to plan the manpower plan. Then to improve the standards, the skills, knowledge, ability, and discipline. This is also very important. The entire world, the entire environment is dynamic, changing day by day, and therefore the workforce that we employ needs to be updated at the regular intervals. It is important, it is imperative to improve their skills, knowledge, ability, and discipline, and for that, different kinds of activities are to be undertaken. Then the next is to assess the surplus or shortage of human resources and take necessary measures. So we have already discussed this, that there should be neither shortage nor surplus. To maintain congenial industrial relationship and maintaining optimum level and structure of human resources. This is also a challenge. When different kinds of people work together, it is very important that there exists a harmonious relationship, a congenial industrial relationship, so that people work in a good environment, and the structure of the human resource should be arranged accordingly. To minimize balances caused due to non-availability of human resources of the right kind, right number, in right time and right place. This is the next objective. Then to make the best use of its human resources. This is very important. When we have human resources, we should try to make its best use. And to estimate the cost of human resources. Human resources are costly, and therefore it is also imperative that an analysis is made to see the trade-off between the human and other aspects of the organization, and the cost of human resources should be as low as possible. Then benefits of manpower planning. Key to managerial functions. Manpower planning is key to managerial functions, and the managerial functions are human resources. Human resources help in implementation of planning, organization, directing, and control. So you know these are the managerial functions, that is implementing, planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. And here the role of manpower becomes very important. Then the next is efficient and effective utilization of human resources. This is also very important, that neither the available human resource should be idle, nor they should be overloaded. It should be effectively and efficiently utilized. Then offsets uncertainty and changes and enables the organization to have right man at the right time and in the right place. So we have already discussed earlier. Then it helps enhance productivity. Manpower is one of the key resources, one of the key elements in any organization, and With the help of manpower, satisfied workforce, there is a chance that it can lead to more productivity. It provides a scope for advancement and development of employees through training, development, etc. Upgradation of knowledge and skills of the manpower is very much essential, because the technologies are changing, processes are changing, many new things are happening around, and therefore at a certain interval it is important that they should be exposed to various kinds of skill development programs, trainings, etc. Then it helps to anticipate the cost of salary, benefits, and all the cost of human resources, facilitating the formulation of budget in an organization. So when we employ, when we recruit any kind of manpower, then we need to pay them. And for payment of their salary, it is important that we make budget, we make plan in advance, and here the manpower planning helps. Then to plan for physical facilities, working condition, and the volume of fringe benefits. Fringe benefits include canteen, school, hospital, conveyance, child care center, etc. So apart from the other facilities, their salaries, organizations also go for arranging fringe benefits, and these fringe benefits help the employees to work satisfactorily. Then helps in appraisal of human resources and decide incentives, promotions, policies. While we employ workforce, we take various kinds of job from them. Then it is very important that we go for the appraisal of human resources, their work, their performance, and based on their performance, we decide various kinds of policies related to incentives, promotions, etc. Then deciding means and ways to improve skills and develop human resources to meet the organizational need. That leads to increased productivity, sales, turnovers, etc. So this is self-explanatory. Then it facilitates the control of all the functions, operations, contributions, and cost of human resources. So all aspects related to workforce or personnel is dealt by the manpower planning, the department of personnel, and thus a suitable plan is essential. Then what are the factors that affect manpower planning? We should understand. And there are two types of factors, external factors and internal factors. Among external factors, there are government policies like labor policy, industrial relation policy, policy towards reserving certain jobs for different communities. So these are the policies formulated by the government, by the policy making bodies, and an organization need to adhere with them. So we should be, an organization should be, the personnel department should be well aware of these policies and try to make policies, organizational policies that conforms to the government policies, so that there should be no conflict and the work should be performed in the desirable manner. Then level of economic development. This is also very important factor. Determines the level of manpower planning in the country and thereby the supply of human resources in future. As economy grow, as there is economic development, several conditions of living, standards of living changes, and accordingly the workforce has certain expectations, has certain desires, and we need to understand those factors while going for the manpower planning, because the level of economic development also affects the manpower. Then business environment. We have already discussed about the business environment in previous classes. And it is, of course, it is also of two types, external business environment and then internal business environment, or macro and micro business environment. Macro or external factors are those which are beyond the control of the organization, that affects the organization from the outside. Of course, organization also affects the external environment. And then the internal environment, which is within the organization, and the organization has some sort of control on those. So business environment is one of the affecting deciding factors. Then information technology. You know, the information technology has brought a revolution in the country or across the globe. Information technology brought amazing shifts in the business, which includes business process reengineering, enterprise resource planning, and supply chain management. So we have now very updated, very efficient information technology, and within a second we can get access to the information which are desirable, and anybody can access those technologies, those information within time, and thus the system has become or is becoming very transparent, very open, and thus organizations, while going for the manpower planning, should also try to incorporate the information technology to the extent possible. These changes brought unprecedented reduction in traditional human resources and increase in the software specialists. The next is level of technology. Technologies are also coming day by day, new technologies, different kinds of technologies, and while going for the manpower planning, it should be also considered. Then there are internal factors also, as we have already discussed. Companies' strategies, policies and strategies relating to expansion, diversification, alliance, etc. determine the quality and quantity of human resources. Sometimes companies or organizations go for alliance, they take over, they get merged with other companies, and accordingly their policies changes. Then human resource policy of the company regarding quality of human resources, compensation, quality of work, life, etc. influences human resource plans. So this is very important aspect. Very important aspect. Another important aspect. Compensation, quality of work, safety, standards, all these types of things which are under the organization affects the performance of the workforce, and therefore while going for the human resource policies, suitable resource compensation policies, quality of work, of life, incentives for quality of improving the quality of life should be there. Then job analysis. Fundamentally, human resource plan is based on job analysis, job description, and job specification. Thus, the job analysis determines the kind of employees required. Then time horizon. Companies with a stable competitive environment can plan for the long run, whereas firms with unstable competitive environment can plan for only short term. So there is a rift, there is a competition. The company alone is not there in the market. Different kinds of players are there, and there lies a competition. A very rigorous competition is there, and this competitive environment affects the company's performance. While going for the manpower planning, the planner should consider the nature of the competition. If it is stable, then it should plan for a longer period. If it is not stable, then the period of plan should be short. Then information. Any planning process needs qualitative and accurate information, which is equally important for human resource planning. So this is another internal factor, information, kind of information, quantity of information, quality of information, all affect the decision making. And manpower planning should try to incorporate, try to elicit as much information as possible, and then incorporate them in the planning for the proper or right decision making. Then next is companies' operation policies. Every company has its own operation policy, and policy regarding how much to produce, how much to buy from outside to prepare a final product influences the number and kind of people required. So it depends on the objectives that we set and that we try to chase. What is the quantity? What should what type of products we are going for? What should be the marketing strategy? All these affect the manpower planning also. Then performance appraisal. Performance appraisal is one of the very important aspects in manpower planning. There are numerous workforce, number of workforce in an organization. And it is very much essential that at regular intervals or after a certain period of time, they should be appraised. Their performances should be appraised. And based on their performance appraisal, the companies decide about the policies of their growth, promotion, incentives, etc. Performance appraisal is the systematic description of employees' job-relevant strengths and weaknesses. So while we go for performance appraisal, where do we focus? Where an organization focus? They focus on the strength and weaknesses of the employees, okay? And then they try to analyze what kind of resources, what kind of support the employees should be given, and what should be the incentives if they are performing well. The basic purpose is to find out how well the employee is performing the job and establish a plan for improvement. There is always a scope for improvement in any kind of job, in any kind of work. There is always a scope because many new changes are happening, new body of knowledges are emerging, new type of skills are coming up, and thus there is always a scope for the improvement, and the organization tries to incorporate those skills, those knowledge, and accordingly they try to develop the plans which enriches, that enhances the performance of the employees. Then appraisals are arranged periodically according to a defined period. I have already said. Performance appraisal is not job evaluation. It is very important to understand that job evaluation is something different from performance evaluation. We have all. I will discuss it in the next class. It refers to how well someone is doing the assigned job. So in performance appraisal, we concentrate on the workforce, the personnel, and then try to find out that how well he is performing. Job evaluation determines how much a job is worth to. So there is a difference here. In job evaluation, we consider the job worth, whether the job is worth what we are going to pay for that. What we are going to pay for that means how much salary, how much wages we are providing against that job. So this is the job worth. But in performance appraisal, what we do, we focus on the personnel and analyze how they are going to perform, how they are performing. Okay, so we stop this class here, and we will meet for another class tomorrow. Thank you very much. Something is coming. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. 30 मिनट के बाद क्या होने लगता है? So कल संडे है ना? कल फ्री हो ना?
हाँ सर.
हाँ कल कुछ क्लासेस होंगे.